that we said, we were first in on making these allegations. This all then comes to fruition.
They made the allegation, Eric did, that we were smearing Samuel Arion. Meanwhile, we had the guy's financial records. We had everything. We had evidence.
So we get on the air, we say this guy, we get him railroaded, the guy gets fired from the University of South Florida. Everybody's pissed at him. Everybody hates him, by the way. He's on trial. They put him in touch with their guy, this FCC attorney that certainly knows how to railroad you, and the rest is history. Tucker, is that not just an unbelievable story?
Well, it is almost unbelievable. That's shocking that they would do that.
Yeah.
But, knowing what the FCC does, it's not that shocking.
Well, other than the fact that, nobody except Howard had to pay the price with their jobs and their livelihood except us and Howard. Nobody else got made an example out of except us. And at the end of the day, what were we guilty of? We were guilty of loving our country and defending our country and going against a guy that's a known terrorist and that has, funded Palestinian-type deals. That's exactly what we're doing.
Whatever happened to him?
He got deported.
Well, he went on trial. The jury was hung on a lot of counts. The U.S. attorney was going to retry him on everything, and then they came to a settlement with him. He pled guilty on a number of the counts. Yeah, there's a 50-count indictment against him from the U.S. attorney. He pled guilty on some of the counts, and he's being deported back to, I believe, Kuwait or Egypt.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, man, I got a guy who pled guilty to however many counts, and he's been forced to leave our country. So were we wrong?
Were you wrong? No.
No, I'm just saying. So
in the end, though, I really believe this, and I'm sorry to sound like a dork, but in my heart I believe it, that if you tell the truth, do the right thing, and stand firm in your convictions, you will be rewarded in the end. I really think that.
Well, I mean, I agree, but nobody should have to go through what we went through when we didn't do anything wrong. All we did was say, we got this scumbag, towel-headed camel jockey son of a bitch that we have tapes saying death to Israel and a money trail back to Egypt and other things, funding the Palestinians and funding other things, and writings and IP addresses of terrorist websites that he's gone to, enough to where the U.S. Marshals and the U.S. government now has him indicted in 50 different counts. We help with that. We talk about that. We give our opinions about this guy. And then, Salon.com organizes against us and gets us railroaded via what they think we do wrong, and that is talk dirty on the radio. I mean, we didn't go out and touch kids. We didn't import 500 pounds of cocaine. We didn't go out and embezzle hundreds of millions of dollars like Bernie Madoff. We didn't do anything that should cost you your livelihood for the rest of your life. We simply got on the air and did business as we had been taught, garnered huge ratings, number one in all of our markets, and expressed a freedom of speech of what we thought about unknown terrorists. That's exactly what we did. And nobody in the entire world should ever lose their job or their livelihood or their ability to support their family based on what we did. And we got made an example out of for simply that. Now, there's some things that you should be made an example out of, i.e. touching kids. There's a lot of bad things that people do. That's not one of them, what we did.
To put it mildly, that is exactly right. In fact, you did the Lord's work. Here's my question. Why would you ever trust the government again?
Well, now you wonder why we don't necessarily trust the government, but when it was all based under one thing, God. It was based on saying bad words on the radio because of religious right-wing idiots like the Upton kid from Michigan, Brownback out of Kansas. That was everybody who led this big indecency crusade. That's what this all was based on. God.
No, but why would evangelical Christians want to defend a radical Muslim community college professor?
Because they didn't know who they were defending. They were up there complaining about bad words being said on the radio.
They didn't know who outed us. They didn't know how we got to the dance.
Right.
They only knew that we were at the dance. We were on trial for talking bad on the radio. They don't know why we got who turned us in. They didn't know that. They didn't even care about that side story. They only knew that we were trumped up in the highest court of the land, and these are the things that we say and do on the radio, and it's just it's just despicable that they're allowed to say penis and boobs, and they're allowed to say those things, and these guys talk dirty, and they have to be made an example of.
And O'Reilly had that a-hole that turned us in, Vanderlyn, on the air and wouldn't let us come on and respond.
Yeah.
Well, who is this Vanderlyn guy?
Some Bosch and Lomb contact lens scientist for Johnson & Johnson.
Literally?
Yes, literally. That's what he does.
Literally. And one day he woke up in the morning and he drove the car to work, and his 18-year-old kid had been listening to our station the night before because of the alternative music our station played, and we were on, and he was offended by, our boobs and penis and other type of talk, and it was his life mission to get us thrown off the air. So for 2 years he petitioned our advertisers, which didn't work. That's why we're so shot of a candidate, pissed off at the world.
See, that is the one thing that I like most of our systems in this country. I think it's a pretty fair country, but the one thing I hate about our systems is how they empower like some individual misfit, grouchy loser to crush other people. Like, someone's offended by something, and then that individual who's like had a bad day and is dyspeptic gets to like shut other people up.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, we got this song now called "Give Me." Have you heard the song "Give Me Some Becky"?
No.
It's a song about it's a black guy named Plies, and he basically sings a song about oral sex. He's and that's what they call oral sex is Becky.
Becky?
Yes. And that's what it's called, is Give Me Some Becky. But and I'm trying to find it. I had it here a minute ago.
And the point Tucker makes is strong because, and I would defend Glenn Beck on this and what he's going through currently, but also Bill Maher, whether you like Bill Maher or not, he had his opinions about the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, and he got thrown off of ABC because of these advertiser boycotts.
Now, hold on.
It's nonsense.
Tucker, I want you to listen to this. This is Black Guy, and listen to this, okay? Now, this is what's allowed now. Because, you don't have
Michael Powell.
You don't have Michael Powell, and you don't have George W. Bush and God and Jesus. Hold on.
Can Miss Becky please raise her hand?
Can Miss Becky please raise her hand?
Bruh.
Now, hold on, Tucker. This is a top 5 song in America for our kids to listen on Top 42. Listen.
I need some of that good Becky right now, bro.
I need some of that good Becky right now.
I need that Becky. I'm on this liquor, oh so heavy. 46, can you peck me?
I'm on this liquor, it's so heavy.
Top and I am ready, I want your mind. Give me that Becky. Keep that nook, I want your throat.
Keep your nookie, I want that throat.
Front that Becky before you go. Wet your mind for me though. Must get Becky before I vote. You Miss Becky, let me know. Licky, I love that, bro.
Licky, I love that, bro.
Wow. Why do they call it Becky?
Well, because you can't call it what we call it. You can't say, give me some, So you gotta,
but there's so many euphemisms. That's a weird one. I must live in the wrong neighborhood.
Well, you live in Washington, D.C., just go down a couple miles. I'm sure you'll find a brother that will understand what you're saying. Walk up to a chicken-headed girl and say, hey, man, can I get some Becky? Man, she'll be in your car so fast, she'll know what you're talking about. Try it. Stand by. Hold on. Listen to how dirty.
I don't think I better do that.
Hold on. Listen to how dirty this thing gets.
Hey, man, that's for sure. I'ma lock your jaws before I go.
I'm gonna lock your jaws before I go. Now, the FCC, we got in trouble by if we know what you're saying, you're still in trouble. Well, I mean, you'd have to be an idiot not to know what this guy's saying. But yet, this is the #1 song among kids right now.
Is it really?
Yeah, absolutely. Hold on.
I'm on this liquor, oh so heavy. 46, can you peck me? Live top and I am ready. I want your mind. Give me that Becky. I'm on this liquor, oh so heavy. 46.
First of all, the new fad is, Tucker, the dumber and the more lazy you can sound, that you can barely enunciate your words, the bigger star you're going to be. So you need to go on and say, yeah, man, this is Tucker Carlson on Fox TV, bitch. I need the Becky. Man, you'll be #1 overnight.
See, I gotta be honest with you, I hate that crap.